Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Advice to Think Twice. My name is Monica and I'm here with our daily advice for February 14th, 2019. Happy Valentine's Day. Sending you all lots of love. So let's have a look and see what's going on, what the energies are for us during this time. The camera's going to zoom in and focus in just a second. I had this camera plugged in, so I didn't want to fiddle around and because I have to take this one out, put the other one in because they're the same. It's a whole big thing. So we're just doing this today. So what are the energies for us for February 14th, give or take a day or so? Oh, okay, so we have, and this is the Marchetti Tarot deck. We have the Ten of Wands. So with the Ten of Wands here, this is, of course, it can be a particularly busy day where we have a lot on our shoulders or we have a lot on our minds. There may be a focus on a particular responsibility or a particular it's obligation, okay, because it feels like a burden. It may be that we're dealing with unforeseen situations, not necessarily in a bad sense, but just in the sense of a lot on our plates, okay? And maybe we have scheduled some things out, or we planned our day out and we're feeling okay with it, and then all of a sudden there's a lot of unplanned stuff that's coming up that we can't postpone, that we can't put off, so we just kind of have to fit it in, and it can be a bit of a stressful moment, but we're more than able to carry everything, okay? So try not to stress, try not to worry, to panic, especially when it comes to unforeseen events or situations, okay? Because I feel like in the end, these will actually turn out to be really good opportunities. So we are encouraged to fit them in. We are encouraged to make room for them, all right? Because sometimes the unexpected turns out to be the best thing ever, all right? Because we didn't plan it, because we didn't envision it. Sometimes we, or more often than not, we sell ourselves short. We don't aim as high for ourselves as we could. And so sometimes when something unexpected comes in, it's like divine intervention, and it's something that it's a lot better than what we could have thought up for ourselves, okay? So that's why it's important for us to allow for the unforeseen. The Ten of Wands is also an energy of exhaustion, all right? So just be careful. Try to also fit some time to rest, even if you give yourself a couple of minutes here and there, especially if you're dealing with a lot of different things and you have to jump from one thing to the other. Make sure that you give yourself a minute, even if it's just a minute in between, to just take a few deep breaths, center yourself, come back to center, ground yourself, and then jump into the next thing, all right? This can also be, because it's a 10, it talks about completions, it talks about release of a burden, I want to say, release of a burden. Because for whatever reason, okay, for one or another, it will be different for everyone, but there's a realization. It's almost like we become aware of just how big of a burden a particular situation is, and more importantly, of the fact that it doesn't necessarily needs to be that big of a burden, or that actually it's not our burden to carry, okay? So there's a moment of clarity, of awareness, almost like we see ourselves from a different perspective, and it's like, boy, how have I been doing this way for so long? Why have I never questioned it? Why have I just kept it going instead of returning it to its rightful owner, let's say, you know what I mean? When it comes to a responsibility, an obligation, or a burden. So it can be a day for us to look at, okay, what am I carrying? What am I responsible for? And truly, am I responsible for this, that, and the other? Okay? Because it is important for us to learn to say no, not in a selfish way, not in a mean, negative type of energy, but just say, I wish I could, but honestly, I have so much on. I'm not going to be able to be much help to you or myself if I spread myself too thin. Okay, at the same time, I don't want to say yes, maybe, for that person to then rely on me, and it turns out, no, actually, no, I can't. I wish I could, but I cannot. But now that person's relying on me, and it's turned into this big, ugly, big mess burden, you know? So it's about being aware and a little bit realistic, all right, with our energy, with what we can and cannot do, to tell the difference between, I would like to be able to do this, but can I really? Should this person count on me? Because, you know, what happens when, say, you need help and someone says, I might be able to do that for you, of course then you rely on that person. Of course then you hope, you know, upon hope that, okay, hopefully they'll be able to do it. But it's like, I really, really hope that works out because I've got nothing else. And because we have a maybe, sometimes we just stop looking, you know? And so then what happens if that person turns around and says, actually, I know I said I would, but I can't? Then what do? You know? So let's try to avoid those types of situations. And if, you know, you're dealing with people who don't understand that and they're calling you selfish or they're calling you names or whatever, just because you say, honestly, I've got too much on, I don't want to say I can do this for you and mess up your plans then, if I cannot. I don't want you to rely on me because I honestly don't think I can do this for you now. If they're not able to appreciate your honesty and to appreciate the fact that it wasn't easy for you to say that, because maybe you really, really did want to help, but honestly, you can't, okay? If they don't appreciate that, then those are not people you need to be worried about. If they're your friends, and they're really not. Okay, first of all, if they rely solely upon you for something that actually is their responsibility, there's something wrong there. And if someone's making you responsible for their problems, there's something wrong there. Okay, so it's about boundaries as well with this energy. On a more day-to-day level, this can talk about moving for some of us today. It can talk about cleansing, clearing out. Okay, moving in with someone moving out on our own. It is the end of a cycle that has been difficult, that has been a burden. It's taught us a lot, but it's time to move on. Okay, so it's time to release the burden, to start fresh. Okay? So that is our energy for today. Let me know how this energy is coming up for you and how it applies for you and what you're dealing with. But I hope that the reading helps, and I hope that we all have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you again very, very soon. Bye for now.